that shit.
Alright, let's do this. Awesome.
Oh man.
Salutations, everyone. Greetings and all that good stuff. My name is Kes, aka Kevlar Kes. This man next to me is Mr. Love, Dr. Love, David Love. Now, it's going to be an emotional and wonderful start of the day. We're just cruising, but we're having intimate and deep conversations. You know, all that small thing. Now, what am I going to start with?
What are you gonna start with?
Working or time off?
I think let's talk about time off, man, because we're all working.
Yeah, we are.
That's it. Yeah, we are. With the heavy side.
Working our backside off. working. Well, working for a purpose, obviously. If you're just working without purpose, without destination, then you're wasting your time. If you're working to get somewhere, then we're talking about something.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a certain man said this a few years ago, and I took that to heart, which has actually helped me. If you are working 20 hours a week, you need to put in 10 more hours. You need to start working 30 hours a week. If you're working 30 hours a week, you need to put in 10 more hours, start working 40 hours a week. If you're working 40 hours a week, 10 more hours, 50 hours a week.
Okay.
Which is what? You don't have to do overtime in that workplace, but you can actually get another job, get a side hustle, do something else, add more to your life. For example, what's 10 hours more? It's 2 hours more in your day, Monday to Friday. Simple. If you love your weekend so much, cool. Do 2 more hours on Monday to Friday. That's 10 hours more. Then you have your weekend to yourself. That's you. Huh?
So when he was saying that to you, the idea was like to go beyond the average was putting in that extra 10 hours. Is that what you're saying?
I say is do more. Do more. We can always do more than we're doing right now, but we procrastinate. We're lazy. We tell ourselves we're lazy, so we don't want to do more. We're more settled with going online, playing a game, just relaxing, watching a video that takes 2 hours and you learn nothing about. So just things that are not by nature progressive. So it's us wasting our time, all that time, which segues into your time, taking time out as well. So you can work harder, but then you need to take time out. What time out basically means is not just time out doing nothing that's not progressive. You can actually rest. You can actually use your time out to enjoy you. So your time out does not necessarily have to be time out for somebody else. Time out is actually you time.
Me time, like taking care,
it's just
like
you
self-care.
time. Self-care. I say self-love, but self-care. It's about looking after yourself. It's about looking after you. It's about, okay, what do I need right now to make myself relax? For me, my own self-care is actually just sleep.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, that's where I'm getting to with it right now. As well, it's like just the time to just rest. Even if it's not sleep, sometimes it's just being horizontal, just to recharge. But to go back to something you said, I think it's real interesting about adding that 10 hours in. Most people will say, I can't do that. But if you look at the time you spend in a day, the average person's watching TV or doing some bullshit, like you said, like 3-4 hours a day. Do you know what I'm saying? The average person could be wasting 3-4 hours on like YouTube, social media, TV, and the rest of it. So it's not that the hours aren't there. We're just so distracted a lot of times, I think, the average person.
Hold up. When you say wasting, I know there's something I know about, say, social media, the internet, whatever page, whatever site you're going to go to. There's idle watching and there's actually learning.
Yes.
So what are we talking about? We're talking about like
I'm talking about idle scrolling.
Right.
I just like whether it's watching Netflix or because I think, like you said, there's a real distinction between time that's well spent. Like I know when I'm using my time well. Like if I'm listening to an audiobook or I'm specifically on YouTube looking up something. So for example, like I'm learning Argentine tango at the moment because I find that shit. I just love that shit. And like, if I'm watching a video of that, the time I spend watching that, I can feel that it's like I'm learning something. But it's very easy for me to like, I don't know, just watch like a O'Shea Duke Jackson video or like, no disrespect to my guy, right? He's cool, but it's very easy for me to get to.
I love
another episode of Celebrity Drug, and like, do you know what I mean? Or like, watch what's going on with like the NBA playoffs or some shit. Do you know what I mean? And it's like your feed, the algorithms are so powerful now that they know what you like, so they can feed that. And it's like if your algorithm's serving you, that's one thing, but I don't know, man.
Hold on. Oh, dude, how do we get into algorithms? Alright, so here's what I find interesting about algorithms, right? It's constantly learning you.
Yes.
On a daily basis.
Yes.
So the algorithm is based on what you watched the past 2, 3, 4, 5 months, and which now calculates that since you like that past 4 months, there's a likelihood that you're gonna like this next one as this way, so it pushes you into that situation. But as a human being, do you not have the ability to change? Do you not have the ability to change what you think, what you feel, what you want to watch? Because I've done that, which is I pick on these 3 or 4 or 5 videos, and then what happens is the algorithm keeps feeding me these kind
That's
of
the thing.
videos.
The algorithms can work for you or against you, right? Depending on.
It keeps you distracted from what you need to do. So now I go, I'm gonna mess with them tomorrow. And tomorrow I'll just like type up, kittens, cute kittens. And then for the next 2 weeks I'm like, oh look, I've got a cute kitten on my feed. Oh look, random. But also the algorithm plays on, since you are a male, you must like this. Since you are a black male, you must like this. Since you are a heterosexual black male, you must like this. Since you were 1, 2, 3, you must like this. And bear in mind, there are thousands of videos a day. Thousands of videos a day. So you can't actually watch everything. So the pro about the algorithm is telling you, hey, this is what you like. So to keep you on our system, we're gonna filter it for you so you can just watch these ones so you don't leave, because we are monetizing the time you spend on us. So basically you go, so one human being spends 8 hours a day on our website, on our app, on our system. Therefore, as an we can actually advertise to these people, which now means that I'll now go to the said company and sell my app to them and say, you need to pay me this amount of money on a monthly basis so that these amount of people will see your product and buy from you. So the system or the website would need so many hours on them to make money from other people.
Right.
So you're thinking you're getting free advertisement, free footage, because that website is free. It's not free. You're spending your time, which, like I said, your valuable time is there.
It's crazy. I heard, and you probably heard this already, but someone said, where did I hear this? He said, if you're dealing with a product or you're dealing with something and it's free, then you are the product.
Yeah.
You are the product.
Don't get mad. It's the way things are. It's just how things are. So it's about making valuable time. So if I'm on, say, a certain website for 4 hours a day, you best believe the reason I'm there for 4 hours a day is to make myself 1% better every day. So I need to be learning from that website. So there might be a video where I'm learning something from, or a new language, or just something I need to be learning.
Can you speak to that 1% a day thing? Because I think the power of that incremental growth over time and how it compounds is lost on a lot of people. And I think that's a real powerful lesson. Like, you know what I'm saying though? Because like 1% doesn't sound like much. Most people are like, wow, I want to be 500% better. But I know what you're talking about when you talk about that 1%, because I've spent time like learning about habits and how growth happens. I'm curious. Yeah, could you speak to that a little bit?
Okay. That's based on society. It is. So
Facts.
everything we do today, we've been socialized into doing it. Everything that we see around us. So when we were a lot younger, this is like because we're older than Jesus. So remember that. Yeah, you're welcome. You know, when we
Peace
were
and love to all the Christians out there. I really am though, man. Jesus made it to what, 33?
Bro,
Yeah, I passed that a
he
while
even
back.
start
fam.
living his life, you know.
I passed that a while
Like,
back.
30, what? This guy more than you. You know.
I'm older than you.
More than you know. At your age, At your age, 33. You are leading 12 people to where? They are disciples. Jesus, what time are you coming home?
Could you imagine?
You know, like,
Could you imagine if Jesus with African parents, like
boy was African,
walking
right?
around? Well, he was, right? But,
Exactly.
like leading 12 men and a prostitute.
No, 11 men and a prostitute, bro. What are you talking about? He was the 13th person, number 13, Jesus. So he had 12 disciples.
He didn't have 12 disciples.
He had 12. He had 12.
Said that he was leading 12. Oh, so she was one of the disciples.
Yeah, fam.
Was Mary Magdalene one of the disciples?
Yeah, fam.
Shame, I never knew that shit.
Bro, listen,
Alright.
12 disciples plus Jesus, 13.
I thought it was a 12 disciples plus the lady of the night. But anyway, go ahead.
Let me this my Jesus, you know, come back in African accent, leave me alone, He was there trying to be nice to people. They killed him. Like, just imagine like the Romans looking like Arnold in Predator. They're like, oh, there's this man out there. He's the man of God. He says, you know, the rumor mill back then, YouTube back then. They're like, oh, he says
YouTube back then.
Yeah, innit? YouTube
BC.
Well, technically it wasn't BC because it was before Christ. So just you know, just you back then.
YouTube during Christ.
Yeah, you.
Right,
DC. Jeez, man. I get cancelled now. So back then, YouTube were like, yeah, this man out there, he says the Son of God, innit? And then the Romans were like Arnie and Predator. If he bleeds, we can kill it. Like, yeah. What did they do? They made him bleed, right?
They did.
And they killed him, right?
They did.
If he bleeds, you can kill it. Anyway, blasphemy.
Fucking hell. Good.
Society, as I was saying,
Society.
Just here's what it is, right? So in our time, if I sent you a text message, I get a reply back in a week. It's called letter writing.
Okay.
I learned patience in life. Everything around me taught me about patience. If I had to call you, it had to be, okay, I'm going to give you a call on Tuesday at 4 p.m. on that number.
Yeah.
So whatever you were doing, you had to be there on Tuesday at 4 p.m.
Yes.
So you learn patience, you learn discipline, you learn focus.
Facts.
If you wanted anything, you'd have to cook it, you'd have to do all that. So you have to cook it and eat it. So you learn patience, you learn focus, you learn discipline, you learn to cook, you learn everything. So everything around you had taught you that if you want anything in life, you need to be patient with it. You need to give it a bit of focus. So you were now socialized to do everything like that. So when it came to you getting better, you already had that because everything around you taught you those principles.
Okay.
Now, you text me and you expect me to reply you in 2 minutes.
Everything's instant,
You're
right?
impulsive.
It's instant.
You want something, you get it now. Think about then. I have a camera, I take a picture. I have to now take the film.
I remember. Do you remember when you had to go to the chemist?
There you go. Take the film to the chemist and then give it a couple of days and pay the money, and then you see the pictures like in 3 days time you have your photos. That's how it was.
But it's a different appreciation with that, right?
Everything taught you focus, taught you discipline, taught you patience. So now
It's the opposite.
Everything you have keeps saying faster.
Instant everything.
Everything. You take your phone, you take a picture, you get it now. You You want to eat, you hear, don't cook, just eat. Just text someone, boom, 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 your food is there.
I got one for you. I remember being at school, and if you had to do an essay, you'd have to go to a library to do research. Do you remember those days? You'd have to go into a library. You'd have to communicate with human beings.
I used to love.
You'd have to go into you'd have to go and research stuff. Like, it was completely different. And
Peckham Library, Holborn Library.
I think I feel like the level that of learning and growth that comes from that's completely different, because now you have to interact. You have to be resourceful compared to now, where you just like Google it. Google Scholar or whatever. Everything's so easy, so there's no value to it.
And then when someone tells you something that they know, they're like, where are the stats? I ain't seen the stats. Oh, send me the link. Man, you have a phone. Do it yourself, you know. Well, yeah, so patience is gone. So when you tell someone to do things a little bit every day, they don't have the patience to do it every day. They want it all now, because everything around your society is telling you can do it now. You want this whole thing, you can do it now. Like when I want to go and play a game, I have to go to the shop to buy the game.
Yeah.
You can do it now on your phone, just download it.
And another thing I would add to this is that our minds are trained to get things quick and easy anyway. Like, our brains want that. Like, our subconscious mind craves what's easy. And so that can be manipulated. So it's like, okay, let's say you look at Amazon, for example. They understand this, so they make their platform super easy to purchase stuff. One click buy.
Yes.
Right? Everything's because they know that that's what our brains want. Our brains want instant gratification. But that's not what serves us. You're getting distracted.
Of course. You're welcome.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
man.
so this is the life we live. It's the life we live. It's unfortunate, you know. So it's why I say that your time, which is value, you want to take care of it. You want to make sure that little time you have, you learn patience. You learn how to control you, how to basically you learn you.
All right. So could you offer like some practical, because I can tell the way you're talking about it. This is something that you've patterned now. Can you offer perhaps some practical tips or?
Yeah, I can, and I will in another video. In a whole different video, I can and I will.
Some money.
No, it's not the money.
I'm joking.
It's the attention. That's what it is. I need them to pay attention. So in another video, we'll do everything. We'll give the whole tips, the whole gist, everything else. This is one thing I like to talk about. Right? This is one person I want to talk about. Now, this has been going on for a few days now.
What's up?
The man known as Kevin Samuels, rest in peace. Rest in peace. He died too young. Rest in peace.
Wow. Were you shocked at his passing?
Man, dude, that hurt. That hurt.
I did not see that coming.
I did not see that coming. What worried me is, so we have the human body. There's the way the human body works. There's, as you get older in time, as you get older, your body stops processing many things as well as it was, as well as it used to. Now, I used to watch his videos, and like I followed him from the beginning. This is like 5 years prior to the whole men versus women drama. 5 years prior, I followed him. But in the recent few years, what I'd see is, because my job is I study the human as a whole. So what I see is a kind of energy drink on the side. See, no one realizes that today. I see a kind of drink on the side, energy drink on the side.
What was it?
I know exactly what it was, but I can't say it.
You don't want to say, okay.
So I see a kind of drink on the side. Every night he was doing his night channel.
Did that give you like pause? Were you thinking, that's not a healthy move for the brother?
Of course.
You're thinking that?
I wish I could tell him that, but you know, I need to learn to give roses to those who are still alive and when they're dead. So every night there was a drink, an energy drink on the table every night. Same energy drink, same drink. And now you have to realize he's not 25 years old. So
Man's in
his body cannot break it down as quickly as a 25-year-old can. He was in his 50s. When you go past 20, 25, your body acts differently. 35 differently. So 45 differently.
55.
50 differently. At 50, you should not be drinking energy drinks. You should be drinking like green tea and honey. All these small things. So I saw that, I recognized that. Love this message. But, there's a but as well. Most of his message was based on the masculine. So for 5 years, he was telling men to do better. Telling men to be better.
I never heard his stuff back then.
Right.
It's only in the past maybe year or two that I started to kind of catch his stuff. Maybe as he's got more popular. But you're saying, like, because I think a lot of people don't realize that as well. It's not like he just made his whole thing off of speaking about women. He was talking to men first. Yeah.
So his initial startup was basically talking to men, telling men that men need to do better. Men need to be better. So if you think you're good enough right now, no, you need to actually be better than you are right now. Because his own thing was about forming a society or community where the men are looked upon and respected.
Okay.
Because if you're a man and just your society or community, you're not respected, then how much worth do you have? So he just wanted men to be better, do better. That was all he wanted.
So he was talking to men about. I know he was talking about how you dress and all these kind of things. So he's covering all of that stuff, like how you carry yourself, how you dress.
How you dress. He was an image consultant.
Yes.
So he was very concerned about how you dress, your posture, your gait, your look, how you hold
stand,
yourself,
everything.
How you talk, how you stand, how you walk, all these things. What kind of perfume you want to wear? What kind of perfume you need to wear? Office perfume, nighttime perfume, just the colors that suit your personality, all these things. And then came the phone calls, but at this time it was men calling him. And he just laid it straight.
Was he as straightforward with the men as he was with the women?
Absolutely. When you were in male circles with around men the whole time, the masculine, not the feminine, masculine is very, very direct, assertive, very straightforward.
That's definitely my
Which
experience.
is basically, if you're not doing something, we're like, bro, you're not doing this. Do it, please. Sort yourself out. That's the masculine energy.
Yeah.
The feminine energy is about not being around the bush, but basically about how other things are based on that thing you're doing. So they're trying not to offend you.
Yeah. They want you to feel good.
They want you to understand how it feels. Does that make sense? The feminine is more of like how it feels. The masculine is more of okay, this is what it is. It's
facts,
the logical.
Facts over feeling versus feelings over facts.
Yeah, that's what it was. And the thing about it is when with men in male circles all the time, if I'm in a male circle for 5 years and women come in that circle, I'm accustomed to speaking in this manner. Makes sense? And then when women come in that circle,
you've been in the masculine energy of being direct.
That's the energy, that's the direction, that's what it is. I'm accustomed to that level of communication.
Yeah.
And then when women come in that circle, I'm going to default and communicate to them the way I was communicating with men.
So
see how it goes.
I understand what you're saying. And on the flip side, for a woman who's not used to that, that's going to be hard for them to process, right?
Well, a lot of the women who I've heard who didn't like what he said did not say that he was wrong.
Yeah.
They just did not like. They got the message that he said, but they didn't like the way he said it. Now, that's what it was. They did not like the way he said it, and it now became a dislike by proxy. Example: if you heard about me from someone else, You've never seen me. You never seen anything I do. You don't know about me. But the person that you know says, "Oh, that person ain't shit." Right? And then you meet me, and I say to you, "Oh, good morning." All you hear is, "Ah, fuck you, good morning, ain't shit." Because you already have your own
like filters.
Your own filters about me before I do anything. See how it goes, right? Before I do anything, you already have an assumption that whatever I say, you're not gonna like. So if a person, you find a person irritable, anything they say will come out as irritating, and that's what it was. It was literally people didn't know who this person was, anything. They'd watch a 2-minute snippet and go, "Oh, this guy's," and that 2-minute snippet has been chopped and screwed to verify that he's a mean person. So all that snippet does is confirm that, yeah, I knew he wasn't a good person in the first place. And that's what it was. So he never did any wrong to anybody, never killed anybody. It's just the message was, I don't like the way you're speaking to women. You need to speak to women like they're children. But he's that uncle. He's that old. He was that uncle that was like, nah, this is what it is. This is how things are. Whether you like it or not, this is how things are. Because the pill that's good for your body is going to taste like crap. The one that tastes with sugar is bad for your body. And that's what it is. A lot of people want the sugar, but not the medicine. You know,
kindness is cruelty, cruelty is kindness.
He who is most hated is that who tells the truth. Socrates.
Big facts.
Simple as that. So came that reality check that, you know, wasn't liked. I get it. I absolutely get it. So I'm in a male circle. I'm in a very male dominant circle. And for 5 years, this is how I teach the men. Say I now have 2,000 men in my circle, right? And now 200 women come in. And they expect me to teach the men the way I would teach the women, right? What now happens is I have now judge and go, hold on. If I start teaching these women in this way that they want me to teach them, I'm going to gain, if I'm lucky, 200 women, but I'm going to lose 2,000 men. That's a reality. But it's easy to be judgmental when you're not the one on the chair. Heavy is the crown. Because everyone else is going about saying about, oh yeah, this, having a go at him. But most people who are out there talking smack about him, they can't lead. They themselves are not exactly good leaders. It's not easy to lead. It's very hard to actually have a whole troop behind you. It's hard work. Yeah, it's the life. And this is the whole thing about the masculine and the feminine. So the world out there today is very much men versus women. Women hating men hating women. It's like, and I'm like, you're missing the point. It's more of the masculine. It's more of the masculine and the feminine. Because
working together in harmony.
Yeah. See, okay. Everyone, men, women, whatever you want to call them, they have masculine traits, they have feminine traits.
Yes, and there's a balance. Each person has their own sort of individual balance of those traits, right?
There you go. It's like me saying, because I'm a man, I have all testosterone, I have no estrogen. That's a lie.
That's nonsense.
Men have testosterone and estrogen. Women have estrogen and testosterone, but to varying degrees. That's what it is. So men have masculine features and feminine features. Women have feminine features and masculine features. Now, what's the masculine? The masculine is more of freedom. It's more of a peace. It's more of a fighting to break free to have a better tomorrow. It's why a lot of men like to go to movies to watch other men fight for freedom. Why they like to watch sports for one team fighting for freedom against the other team, which is basically how, if I get my ball into that team's net, I've won some freedom. That's freedom. Many women don't like football or rugby or any kind of macho games.
Isn't it interesting how we've kind of almost, not we, because I don't feel like I do this like that, but isn't it interesting how as a society men have found these other ways, like rather than take on those challenges themselves, they'll go watch the Marvel film, or they'll support the football team, or watch the boxer, or whatever, and they'll kind of live vicariously through that person, that athlete, that whatever, rather than take on their own.
It's a fantasy of freedom. We fantasize about freedom, especially those who don't go out seeking it themselves. They'd go, okay, if I can't do it myself, I want to see Batman do it. And then I watch that so often that fiction becomes my reality. Because if you think about it today, every other person believes Batman is real. They won't say it, but in their head there's a real Gotham out there. Right. Okay. Now the feminine is more of romance, emotional, how it feels. So there's always going to be the clash between the masculine and the feminine. So when things are going well but don't feel right, something's wrong. But everything is fine. So I'm like, okay, well, everything is fine. We've got this. But then, no, things don't feel right. And the masculine is like, does not compute, because all they see is logic. Which is, well, logic is, 2 + 2 is 4, and 2 × 2 is 4, so cool, we're cool. But then the feminism are like, but that 2 doesn't feel right. In my gut, doesn't feel like it's a 2. It's like a 5. That's what it is. So it's what causes the constant clash. And I get it. I absolutely get it. So when Kevin was very much in his masculine feminine talking, many people who came in, they had their own by proxy hate of Kevin. 1, 2. They didn't like how he said it, because it's not what he said, it's how he said it. And now in that situation, I knew a few people out there who were just so happy that he passed away. And
it's crazy,
dude,
it's crazy.
See, you don't speak ill of the dead. It's just how it is. Where I come from, you do not speak ill of the dead. You just don't.
Where I came from, like, you wouldn't even think about doing it.
You don't speak ill of the dead. Even if someone did you wrong, you don't speak ill of the dead. And this is what people don't understand is, so if I say person A is speaking ill of the dead, person A does not understand that in doing that you're going to lose people who were on your side. Why is that? Because if you cannot speak good of somebody, how can you speak good of me? If you have nothing good to say about somebody in his time of passing, how can you speak about me? That person, he left a daughter behind. His mother's when everything was out there. So all this has happened, It was unfair. Alright, so I was saying earlier about women who have been having who've been having a go at this whole Kevin Samuels thing online. There's something I've been noticing for years now that I've had an issue with, and no one's actually ever said this, is that a lot of women who tend to argue with men online, like just comment section, arguing with men in videos and just shouting up and down, it's not a good look for the women. It's not. Because now here's where it's interesting, right? The men that they are attracted to, or the men that they're interested in, or the men that they want to be with, those men see them in that light. They see them in that argument. They see them in that video. they see that conversation and then they go, you know what, I don't want anything to do with someone like this. That's a reality.
The men, when you say the men that they're interested in,
yes,
what kind of men are we talking about?
Oh man,
you mean masculine men?
No, 6'6". 6 foot, 6 figures, 6 cars, 6-figure income, 6-pack, 6-inch something, 6 bedrooms. No, the 6'6".
6'6".
Well, it's the fantasy, right? You're not speaking to your ex for about 6 months. It's a fantasy, but that fantasy, or there are the 1%ers, right? There are the people out there who are, let's say less than 1% of men out there earn more than £100,000 a year. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing, and the ones who earn that money, you don't see them. They're not online. You don't see them regularly. They're actually out there working from say 6 a.m. to like 11 p.m. They're out the country. They're out and about. They're actually busy. And then if they have say 2 minutes to look on their social media, and then they see you arguing with other men, they'll be like, I want nothing to do with you. And what happens is, for a big crowd, people will seem to have this misunderstanding that sexuality is femininity. Does that make sense? Whereas you'd be like, so
explain what you mean when you say
let me break it down for you. So you go online, you see pictures, you see a few videos, you see all these attention hooking clips with women showing their sexual body parts or their reproductive parts. So you have their butt showing, they're showing the butt, they're twerking, they're showing their cleavages, they're showing their titties out, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So what's happening is that person looks sexually attractive. Sexual attraction does not equate femininity. So the men that they're looking for are looking for feminine women, not sexual women. Because whether you like it or not, sex is everywhere. You can turn left, turn right, there's someone giving you sex. Sex is everywhere. But what they're looking for is not sex. They're looking for something more than sex. They're looking for women who are actually feminine in their feminine frame, who are fit, feminine, and friendly, who will basically comfort you.
I like that. Fit, feminine, and friendly.
It's not my coin. Someone else said that first for me, so let me give props to it. But it's true. So they want someone that's friendly, a woman that's friendly, a woman that is accepting, a woman that's not afraid to be vulnerable, a woman that makes you feel better, a woman that welcomes you, a woman that gives you peace at the end of the day, a woman that makes you feel calm, that makes you feel good, that you know what, her company makes my time better. Her company makes my peace more peaceful. Her company is good for me. That's what a lot of men are looking for when they say they want women that are feminine.
Yeah.
But the misunderstanding is, if I show you my female body parts, that makes me feminine. No, it's like me showing my abs and saying that's masculine. It's not. It just means that I have no body fat. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's so small. But now, what's even weird about this? You look at all those pictures, right? Look at all those pictures. You see breasts, you see boobs, you see ass, everything. You know what you don't see? You don't see a smile.
Wow.
And women don't even know that. The most beautiful part of a woman is a smile. The most feminine part of a woman is her smile. A genuine smile. Not that, like a genuine smile.
It's funny you say that because what I'm noticing, I do a number of things, but I bartend a few nights a week, and it was fascinating to me just how masculine women have become. I'll give you an example. A woman comes up to the bar yesterday. She orders 3 tequila shots. So I'm thinking these shots are for like her and maybe 2 friends or something, right? And this isn't the first time this has happened.
Yeah.
I put the shots out. Before I can even, because you put the little shot glasses out.
Yeah.
Before I can even like reach for the saw or place the limes on the shot glasses, she's reaching for the shot glass to take one. And I have to say, no, hang on a second. Let me pass it to you, because this is how spillages often happen. We go and we joke. But long story short, this woman takes these 3 shots and knocks them back like they're water. Her facial expression doesn't change. She's not like some men will drink tequila and be like, that hit. She's just deadpan, boom, 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 knocks back all 3 of them, walks off. And it's like, it's different, man. It's just different. It's different.
That makes sense. It makes sense to me in a different perspective, different context. It's basically something like that. I don't know who she is, I don't know her, but it would be a situation where she needs to have a sit down with someone and talk. No, in all seriousness. Because alcohol addiction, which is an addiction. Alcohol addiction, you call it consumption. Alcohol addiction is basically running from something.
Avoiding something.
Yes. Avoiding facing something, running from something. I don't know what it is, you don't know what it is. But it's a vice. Alcohol addiction, the overconsumption of sugar is one of those features when it comes to denying yourself your natural self. So when you deny your natural self, when you have this need to be provider, protector, procreator, instead of being fit, feminine, friendly, what happens is you are denying yourself who you are. And then your escape goes to sugars, goes to caffeine overconsumption, goes to alcohol consumption.
So you mean that works as a kind of a counterbalance almost?
Yes, it's your craving for love. You crave affection and love when you don't get it. So what you do is you find it in the endorphin buzz in the sugar. You find it in the endorphin release in the caffeine. You find it in the numbing of the alcohol.
Interesting. I definitely agree in the sense that I think addiction is it's like a form of escapism.
Yep. It is.
It's almost like
also
the pain's too much. Like
yes. Also, another thing that happens is that I use this term all the time. The masses are asses, which is basically like, oh, but everyone's doing it, so why aren't you doing it? No, just because 10,000 people are idiots doesn't mean I should be one. So everyone is doing that thing. Therefore, we must do it too. So everyone is consuming alcohol on a mad bender from Thursday to Sunday, and you're not doing it. It doesn't mean you're crazy. It just means you have your own decisions. It means you're your own person. Nobody can and nobody should force you to do what you don't want to do. I tell everyone it's the same thing. So when you come at me, and not you obviously, when someone comes to me and says, oh, but these 10 guys are drinking, so I have to drink as well. I go, you're an idiot. You're actually an idiot. You're actually stupid. You're short-sighted, S-T, temperamental, U, unreasonable, P, petty, I, ignorant, D, delusional. You're stupid. Get mad. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is how it is. But yeah. context, women who want to date men or who are attracted to a few men should not be arguing with other men online, because the men that they like would not find them attractive after that, because it's basically a masculine trait of clashing heads when men clash heads with men. So when other men see women clashing heads with men online, they take it as, they see that as you're too masculine. I don't need a masculine anything, because, and it's not, is again, we get the whole, oh, I need a man to, what's the word they use? There's a word that's used. I need a man to something me, you know, to control me or something like that, or to put me in my place.
Activate my feminine.
Activate my feminine. This Power Rangers.
I hear that though. I hear women say, "Oh well, when I meet a dominant man, then a masculine man, then I will be feminine for him." And it's...
No, that's not the way. It's like me saying, when I buy a car, now start learning how to drive. You're not gonna do that, mate. You can do that in fantasy world, yeah. Fantasy realm, yes, but in reality, it's dangerous. Or, oh, when I get a partner, I'll start learning how to cook. You go, girl. That's my own thing. You go, girl. Simple as that. So yeah, please learn to cook, learn to drive, learn to listen to your partner, learn to be a nicer person, learn to be kind. It's not just all about you. It's about the other person you care for too. We all have an MC syndrome, a main character syndrome. Everyone thinks they're the main character of the movie, which is basically what? The world revolves around my butt. It doesn't. It's not about just you, it's about other people too. You know, the world is a big world, but it's not just about you. So, in concept, learn what your partner wants. Learn what your partner needs. Pay attention to the masculine and feminine in other people. Pay attention to the masculine and feminine in you. Do not judge other people just based on what your friends say, what other people say. Take your time and listen to people. You have to be silent to listen. Just listen and you understand. Well, that's it on my side. Anything else?
I mean, a few things pop into my mind when you say this. Like, one thing is, I mean, for me personally, whenever I get that energy from a woman, that kind of combative energy, I just switch off now. And there was a time, once upon a time, when I would want to try and convince her and blah, blah, blah. Now I just switch off because, like you said, I think what men want is peace, and we want harmony, and we want cooperation. And a woman that isn't open to that, a woman that is trying to be in control or do a power struggle or prove this or whatever, I think most men they're just not interested in that. And it's like, why would I entertain all that? Why would I go, okay, I'm going to get to know the real you underneath all of this, or I'm going to try and transform this or change all this? When the reality is you can find someone who's born with you without all that stress. And I think that's what most men are going to do. They're going to say, oh, you know what?
Isn't that what it is? Because you found peace in your time, as in knowledge of self.
Yes.
So you are at peace with yourself.
Yes.
So
exactly
if anyone comes your way and they are going to interrupt your peace instead of making your peace better, you're not interested.
That's where I'm at.
You know what's funny about that? I keep saying this. In the general consensus, women do not what men want. Today's women have no idea what men want. I'll help you. Men generally, and I'm saying more than 50% of men, let me say 51 to 99% of men, okay? There's the one thing they want in this life. I say want, but I mean need. The one thing they need in this life is peace.
Peace.
That's it. They don't want you twerking. They don't want you shouting. So I think a lot of men use that term, that coin of phrase, what do you bring to the table? I get it. On the offset, it's offensive. It's like, tablecloth. But what they're trying to say is more of how can you make my life more peaceful? And if you can make my life more peaceful, I will go to the ends of the earth for you. That's what we don't know, because men generally we're pre-programmed to protect women. It's our programming. We are pre-programmed to provide for women. That's why you have many simps out there. It's our programming. It's just how it is. And the ticket or the trick of the trade is make his peace more peaceful.
Jeez.
And he will do anything for you. He will give his life for you. He will go to the ends of the earth for you. That's the secret. That's the trick. That's it.
I could not agree more with that. And it sounds so simple, and it doesn't sound so exciting. Oh, he just wants peace. But it's exactly that. Like life's challenging enough as it is. To me, it's like, if I have to go out into the world and deal with all the different challenges I have there, and then I have the challenges with my work and in different relationships and different scenarios and environments, why don't I want to come and have a battle with you as well? Like, you should be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, part of my foundation, part of my compound, right? You should be like making the whole thing better. And it's like, if it's going to be a thing where we're going to be like that, come on, man.
Just leave me alone.
Leave me alone. I might as well be on my own. And I see so many men that are in that frame where they're just like, well, dramas with the baby mama or dramas with this. And I'm just like, no, that's not my reality.
I get it. All right, everyone. It's been emotional. Peace.